chatter on the side and the back. With it one person talking, it's fine, but think about it being 15 other people. It really gets noisy up here. So. Okay, how you doing, sir? You ready to get this rolling?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, everybody set and ready? Okay, we will begin. If you have questions, please raise your hand and one of our girls will get you a mic.
Hey, OJ. Joe Whalen, WBMA TV in Birmingham. With how well your season wrapped up and all the positive talk from NFL scouts, why the decision to come back for another season?
Personally, I had some goals I wanted to accomplish that was in college for me, so that played a big decision in it. I had the opportunity to graduate college in May, so I did that. Also, I had some things I want to get better with on the football field, route running, little things in the run game, so that played a big factor in me coming back to school.
Hey, OJ, Chris Womack, CBS 42. With summer workouts, what have you seen from all of the quarterbacks, and do you feel like somebody's really taking the lead in that race?
Yeah, well, I think each quarterback's doing a great job of right now, during the play, running the plays that we have called. Each quarterback's being a very good leader. There's not one guy that's standing out more than another, but right now we're not doing as much, but each guy's looking good so far.
Hey, OJ, Scott Griffith, CBS 42. Can you talk a little bit, expound on the transition that sophomore year when they weren't utilizing you a lot, you were embracing blocking, and then how you become a good blocker, and now your role has expanded catching the ball?
Yeah, that sophomore year, I had to improve a lot on blocking that all season, so that was something that we worked on, me and my coaches. And that junior year, we took it to the next level, trying to work on the route running game. And now this season, we want to put all of it together to be a complete tight end. So it's just a progression, and I think this year we're trying to make that complete package of a tight end out of me.
Hey, Steve Nissen, WEAR Pensacola. A lot of times when a team wins a championship, you see the next year they don't come back with the same hunger. Are you seeing that? What are the signs you're seeing in terms of the level of hunger?
I think our team knows that that's old. This team hasn't done anything yet. It's a whole new team. We want to establish a new identity for ourselves. Everybody's working hard. Nobody's complacent. And I think our freshmen are buying into the process already. It's instilled in them from seeing the older guys do the right thing. So I think this team's going to be fine.
Tom Menino, WBTM 13 in Birmingham. Obviously, there's been some off-the-field issues when it comes to your team this offseason, specifically with Cam Robinson and Hootie Jones. As one of the leaders in the team, the more experienced guys in the team, when stuff like that happens, do some of the older players reach out to those guys when that happens, and how much can you really try to make sure that everybody kind of stays out of that stuff when it comes to off-the-field issues? Is there anything you guys can do?
When anybody on our team gets in trouble, we're a family. We all gonna, reach out and say something to them. We're there for them, support them. But as far as that goes, that's out of my hands. That's Coach Saban. He take care of that. I just say, guys, I just give my support. But other than that, it's in Coach Saban's hands.
OJ, this will be the third straight year that you guys are going to be breaking in a new starting quarterback. Obviously, you guys have had great success with that the last couple seasons. As an offense, what do you guys do to help make that a smooth transition and help with the quarterback's development through the season?
Like you said, it's the third straight year. I think we've done great so far with that over the years. So, the coaches does a great job of working with the quarterbacks in the all season, allowing them to go over the playbooks. Those guys focus. They do the right things, and whichever guy wins over the team in the off season and going to the camp, usually starting quarterback.
OJ, Tony Cornish Jr., WTVY TV in Dothan. Talk a little bit about the off season, what it's been like for you after coming off the national championship game, your outstanding performance, reception you received from fans, family, everybody around, and how you redial and try to refocus on a new mission this year.
It's been great. Back home, a lot of support. I had a parade back home for me, so they've been showing a lot of support for me. But like I said, that's in the past for me. I know it's a big game for me, a big moment for me, but I try to brush that off. I want to, bring a new identity to myself for this season, so focusing on getting better, becoming a complete tight end.
OJ, you mentioned quarterbacks winning the team. In your mind,
I think it starts with being vocal in the huddle. A guy who shows confidence, even when he messes up. You know, no matter what, he still has, you know, a big. He's very enthusiastic still. He shows great determination, and I see that out of all our quarterbacks right now. You know, because everybody makes mistakes, so they're going to throw an interception every now and then. But who bounces back? Who doesn't make the same mistakes twice? And I think that's what the coaching staff looks for out of a quarterback. And whichever guy does that the best, I think he wins over the team.
OJ, Tierra Gibson, WAFB Baton Rouge. I'm just wondering what it's like blocking against a defensive line like the Tigers, or what it's like playing in Tiger Stadium.
Definitely one of the loudest stadiums I ever played in. Always have great talent each year on the defensive line. You know, every year we play them, it's been a tough game, great competition. And I'm looking forward to going down there again this season, so I'm excited about that.
Hey, OJ, Jacques Doucet, WAFB TV in Baton Rouge as well. What does Coach Saban do to get you guys hungry again, or does he have to do that to you guys?
I don't think he has to. I think, you know, with us being competitors and us having goals as a team, we know what it takes to get to what we want to accomplish. So, Coach doesn't have to say much. You know, Coach is still going to be there for us to coach us up, you know, give us the speeches that we need. But if you don't want to win, I don't think, you know, you're a competitor. So he don't have to say too much to get us fired up.
Out of the quarterbacks, Cooper is the one that has the most experience. What have you kind of seen in his development in spring and in the off season?
I would just say him being more vocal. You know, he kind of, you know, in the years, you know, him being a younger guy, probably be a little, you know, shy. Wasn't quick to say anything, but now he's being more vocal. He's been a very good leader for us. He's doing a great job of teaching the other quarterbacks different things. Each quarterback's helping each other out, but he's probably the most, like you said, experienced one. And just seeing him evolve and being more vocal is it's a great thing to see.
Go right here in the front.
Hey, OJ, Seth Austin, ABC 3340 here in town. A couple coaching changes for you this season. Brent Key getting hired to be the offensive line coach. Mario Cristobal moving to tight ends with you. Is that a little more special attention with the tight ends that could help you grow and develop to become an NFL talent type guy?
Yeah, you can look at it like that. I see Coach Cristobal is a great coach. You know, even when he coached the O-line, the enthusiasm he brought every day to practice and the enthusiasm he brings every day in our tight end room is second to none. He's gonna have us ready to play every game. He's teaching us great techniques, and I'm excited about the season. And like I said, man, he's a great coach, and I'm just happy to see where we go from here.
Right back here in the back.
OJ, Bo and Damien are going to be asked to take on a greater role out of the backfield this season. How have you seen those two guys develop?
Yeah, matured a lot. You know, last year we had a great running back. So those guys to play under a running back from last year and just to see how he played in Derek, I think those guys have matured, and I see it now. Bo and Damien are both helping the younger guys that came in this year, the freshman running backs. They're being leaders also at their position, and I think they're going to be ready for the challenge that we're asking them this season.
OJ, Stephen Gunner, WSFA Montgomery. You've talked about the final game last season and building off that. Is there a way that you look at your senior season as I've got to perform this way, or it's a letdown, or do you put any of that pressure on you for a final season?
No, I don't want to put any pressure on myself. I know what I need to do. You know, just go out there and play hard for my team every game. Everything else will take care of itself. You know, I know our coaching staff will do the right things to have us prepared, and Coach Cristobal will do everything to have me prepared to play each game to the best of my abilities. So there shouldn't be any pressure at all. You know, I'm trained to do what I do on Saturday night, so I'm excited about that.
During the season, when we're in Tuscaloosa talking to you guys, we usually ask you from time to time questions about fans and just the attention you get playing for this team. Was walking in the lobby today kind of the epitome of the attention that you guys receive pretty much everywhere you go?
Yeah, definitely. Our fans, they're here bright and early in the morning. That's just an example of how it's going to be in the fall when the season comes around. And no matter where we play, the fans are always there traveling with us, show great support. So this is only half, not even half of our fans. So I only can imagine when the fall rolls around and the first game in September comes.
What went through your mind when you saw that lobby?
Say that again. It was, kind of like, wow, this many people just came for media days. Imagine when they actually come for the whole game. I mean, for a real game. So it was kind of, not really nerve-wracking, but it's just shocking to see a lot of people come for media days.
OJ, you talked about how coach doesn't really have to get you guys hungry, and last year, this year's team hasn't done anything yet. What is it, though, about Alabama? Because not every team does this, but you guys seem to do a good job of compartmentalizing one season to the next and staying hungry. What is it that you guys do different?
I just think the way we work in the off season, and we have a 24-hour rule each game. So leaving each game behind and moving on to the next. Same thing with the seasons, leaving one season behind, moving on to the next one. And all the work that we put in the all season is it's a tough challenge for us, and we know that. So you don't want to have a letdown, and all that work you put in, you want to make sure it pays off during the season. So each guy has it in the back of their mind when we step on that field, and I think that's what makes us so good.
OJ, you touched upon the LSU game for a while. People call it the biggest game in college football, all the NFL talent and whatnot, but you've beat them 5 in a row now. Has the game lost any luster? How do you view the matchup now?
No, it's each year is still going to have the same hype because of, like you said, all the talent that's on both sides of on the teams. This year, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said earlier, man, and LSU is a great team. Every year they're a great team, so we respect them. I think they think the same of us. So each year is going to have the hype around it, and I just can't wait till November 5th. Looking forward to that game.
You talked about Bo and Damian, but and Alabama's always been known for their running backs. But is this the best receiving core, yourself included as a tight end, that Alabama may have ever had?
I really can't speak for the other generations of receivers to come through, but I know this group we have are just a bunch of guys that are hardworking. But the most important thing, we're coachable, and we listen. And the receivers, those guys, they do the right things when it comes to little techniques and fundamentals to getting open on routes. Great receiving core, no doubt about it. But one of the best. And I'm not sure about that, but I know we're very coachable, and that's what makes us so different.
Back over in the corner.
Hey, OJ, do you think if Coach Saban was coaching at Vanderbilt that he'd have the same number of national championships? In other words, is it something to his coaching, or is there something unique about Alabama?
Yeah, I think Coach. Yeah, I think so. I think it's really Coach. The way he coaches and the standard that he holds his players to, and if he coached at the University of Vanderbilt or Vanderbilt University, I'm not sure, but but if he coached there, I think he'll still get the recruits. It'll take time, but I think it's the coaching that he does. So yeah.
And how about just your championship game performance? Maybe some thoughts about going pro, but coming back.
I thought about it, but like I said, it was some goals that I had left on the table that I wanted to accomplish. So that's the reason I came back to school, and looking forward to accomplishing those goals this year also.
Hey, OJ, I was just curious. Everybody talks about the business culture there, and you got to kind of have that mindset when you're recruited. Could you go back a few years and talk about that? And as guys come in now, what kind of fit does a player have to be to flourish in the culture there? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. I think it's really not much about the talent, man. It's about a person who wants to give effort. You come in and work hard. You do the right things. I think you can come in and play in our system. Of course the guys have good talent, but if you work hard, put in the work, do everything that coaches ask of you, you'll have a chance to play on the field.
We talk so much about coaches coming and going in college football. You guys have had some obviously at the head coaching position, all continuity, but especially some continuity at the offensive coordinator spot with Lane Kiffin. How important is that, just the fact that he's still there and you have some continuity there when it comes to the offensive coordinator and with Lane?
It's huge. Coach Kiffin is a great offensive coordinator, great offensive mind. The things that he do to get us open, to get the playmakers the ball is outstanding. And I think just having him there for all these years and him standing around is great for us. We're happy to have him, and hopefully to keep him around for many more years.
OJ, we spoke to your mom downstairs. I think it was kind of a surprise maybe that she showed up here, but you mentioned the support back home and how proud they are when we've spoken with them in the past about staying to get the degree, and how much do you play for her back home and everyone back in Fever Country?
It's, back home the support is outstanding. I think about it all the time. Being a person, one of the first people from my city and my town to make it big like this is awesome. So I always try to do my best for my city and for my town, and everybody's proud of me no matter how I play or what I do. They'll always be proud of me. But it does motivate me a lot to play hard for those guys back home.
We have time for one or two more questions.
OJ, how many championship rings do you have, SEC and national championship rings?
I have 4. I have 2 SEC rings, and 1 national championship.
With all the success, what keeps you guys hungry and motivated? Why is it not a one-of? Why is it sustained success?
Like I said, I think anybody want to compete and be a competitor. You want to always get what's out there for you. You want to do more, achieve more. You don't want to be satisfied with just doing what you've already done. You always want to get better each season and try to challenge yourself to achieve more. So I think that's why every year we come back hungry and want to do it over again.
Right here.
Obviously, Calvin Ridley really burst onto the scene last season. Beyond just his talent, what is it that allowed him to be so good, so dynamic, so quickly?
I think the attention to detail that he does, he pays attention. He's very coachable, and he's very smart. As a smart receiver, he came in as a freshman. He understood coverages. He knew how to run double moves. He sells a lot of routes, and I think just that his experience as a young guy, and he plays like a veteran. So that's what makes him such a good receiver.
One more question. In the back.
Talk about your running back core, kind of go through the guys and maybe you guys have running backs.
We have Bo Scarborough, Damian Harris. We have Joshua Jacobs. We have BJ Emmons, Ronnie Clark. Those are the guys we have. And like I said, Bo and Damian are the two leaders of that core. And I think those guys have learned from running backs of last year's team to do what they do now. They know what to do, but they're coaching up the younger guys. And I think they're doing a great job of leading the running backs this year.
Okay, thank you very much. Peace love to you. Enjoy the day. You do great. How you doing? Nice to meet you. We'll let them get that door closed. And okay. No worries. Okay, we're ready to move forward with Jonathan Allen. If you would, raise your hand and we'll get you a mic. We're going to go right here. Okay.
Hey, John. Chris Womack, 42 in Birmingham. First off, how's the shoulder feeling, and how frustrating was it to miss so much time during spring practice?
Oh, the shoulder's feeling great. Our rehab staff is amazing. I've been doing rehab almost every day, and it's been feeling really good. And I'm actually a couple weeks ahead of schedule. It is a little frustrating to miss spring, but at the same time, you got to recognize the bigger picture and the bigger goal. So that's what I just try to tell myself every day as I went to rehab and just try to stay focused on what the goal was.
Jonathan, Joe Whalen, WBMA TV in Birmingham. As the elder statesman, do you feel like you're the voice of the defense this year?
I want to say I'm the voice of defense. I'll say I'm maybe one of the voices. I mean, there's so many people who are leaders on the team like Eddie Jackson, Reuben Foster, Dalvin Thomas. We have a bunch of guys who can lead. So I want to say I'm primarily the main voice.
Hey, Jonathan, Jacques Doucet, WAFB TV in Baton Rouge. Reflecting back on last year, how did you guys stop Leonard Fournette the way you did? Was it the game plan? Was it just 2 weeks of preparation? I mean, how do you reflect back on that performance? Because no one else could do that.
I feel like it was a combination of many things. Having the extra week definitely did help get guys healthy, but it's just a pride thing. I mean, the coach, it was a simple game plan. We didn't run a lot of calls. It was just mano a mano. You know, you just had to take pride in what you do is dominating your box. So I feel like we did a good job of recognizing what the excellence was and upholding that standard.
Hey, Jonathan, Scott Griffith, CBS 42. I just asked OJ, what is it about the business culture, and I know you were serious talking to you when you were getting recruited about academics and those kind of things. What is it about the business culture and just the culture period at Alabama that makes some guys want to go there and flourish and then some guys not? That, you know, if you know what I'm talking about there.
Probably the biggest thing is recognizing that it is a game, and there's no doubt in that, but it's also a business. You got to realize the business aspect. The example Coach Saban always gives is you're your own CEO, and how you portray yourself and the things you do is pretty much writing your resume. So you got to think about that every time you got to make a decision. You know, you're writing your own resume. So that's probably something that might turn some other guys away. You know, it might not be as fun as somewhere like in Florida or something like that, but it's a business aspect. But with that being said, we still have fun. We still get after it, and we just have fun competing.
Right here. Steve Nissen, WEAR, Pensacola. A lot of times after a team wins a championship, you don't see the same level of hunger the next year. What kind of signs are you seeing in terms of the level of hunger of this team?
I see a lot of hunger in this team. The biggest thing at Alabama, if you don't have hunger, you're not going to start next year. You know, Coach Saban's not going to do anything to the detriment of the team. So you have to come with it every game, every day, and prove why you deserve to be the starter. So as of that, I really haven't seen no problems with complacency this year.
Up front.
Tom Menino, WBTM 13 in Birmingham. Off-the-field issues happen in college football. You guys had an off-the-field issue that happened with Cam Robinson and Hootie Jones. As one of the leaders of the team, obviously, I mean, you can't be everywhere. There's not much that you can actually tangibly do. But what, if anything, can you do in terms of support for those guys, and maybe just trying to send the message that this just can't happen?
As a message, that's honestly up to Coach Saban. So I mean, whatever he sees fit is what we're going to do. But as support, I mean, we're always there for our teammates. If they need anything, I'll be there for them. If they need me to pick them up from the airport, I'm there. So I mean, they always have my number support-wise. But other than that, I mean, yeah, I mean, you just have to leave it up to Coach Saban.
Right here.
You had a coaching change with Bo Davis leaving. How do you feel like Coach Dunbar is fitting in, and what's the biggest difference in his coaching style and Bo Davis'?
You know, I feel like Coach Davis and Coach Dunbar are very similar. We haven't had a lot of field work with him on the field, so I can't really tell you too much about that. But off the field, everything's been very smooth. I mean, he's picking up our defense really quickly, so he's doing a good job of coaching the younger guys up and helping even the older guys understand what his policy and procedures are and what he needs to do and what he wants to establish as a D-line coach.
Jonathan, O.J. Howard said that part of the reason this team stays hungry and wins consistently is the off-season workouts. What goes on in those workouts to produce these results? Because nobody in the modern era wins at this rate.
I would easily say that our off-season workouts are the hardest thing we do throughout the whole season. I mean, it really pushes you, not just physically, but mentally. It takes you to the wall, and you got to be able to get past it, and that really separates the men from the boys, as we say. So, you know, I feel like our off-season workouts really help prepare us for what's to come in the season. You know, if you can make it through our fourth quarter program, you could play at any road team stadium easily.
Over here, far left.
Cody Coyle, KBTX TV, College Station. Just how tough is the SEC West, man? What's the slight margin of error from the top to the bottom every year?
A slight margin of error there's almost none. I mean, I feel like the SEC West in my opinion, is the best conference. It's the best conference. I mean, from top to bottom, every team is great, and you can't take a slight on any team that we play. So, SEC is not even just the West. The whole SEC is definitely a hard conference to play in.
Back over here in the corner.
Hey, Jonathan, How much are you going to miss Kirby Smart, or are you not really going to miss him?
Oh, I'm gonna definitely miss Kirby Smart, man. I loved him, man. He was definitely family to me. I mean, I've been with him 3 years. You know, we're definitely gonna miss him, but you can't get mad for making what's best for his family. So I'm excited to see what he does. I'm just glad he didn't choose a team in the West.
And do you feel like that LSU series has lost a little bit of luster? You guys have really dominated them the past few years.
Oh no, there's definitely no lust lost there. I mean, LSU every time we get ready to go into an LSU game, you know it's going to be a violent, physical game. So those are definitely the hardest practices we have throughout the whole year is getting ready for LSU.
Right here to your left.
Jonathan, a follow-up on that. Where does Tiger Stadium rank as far as atmosphere, stadiums you've been in, road environments, that kind of thing?
Oh, man. It will be top 2, definitely. I mean, it's just such a hostile environment. But from a defensive perspective, we love that. I love going on the road. Defense loves going on the road. So, I mean, we just love that negative energy that they throw at us, and it just helps get us ready to play.
When you were there 2 years ago, was that kind of a victory? Like, how did we, do this? Or, I mean, because late, the fumble recovery and everything, things weren't looking good.
It's just one of the things you always got to just keep playing every down to the end of the game. You never assume that you lost a game, never assume that you won a game. So, I mean, that just put in perspective what we had to do to win, and I was very proud of our team that game.
Jonathan, talk a little bit about first game of the year, how you try to set the tone, get things started the right way, taking on USC in the Lone Star State.
Coach Saban always talks about establishing identity, and the first game is the first opportunity to do that on a national level. So, we're going to prepare like heck throughout the offseason to get our team and our players and our coaches and our staff ready, to play at the best of our abilities that game. So we're excited to be able to play USC. That's a team we don't get to play very often. So we're excited.
Last year, the defensive line, the amount of depth and talent was amazing. You lost some of those guys, obviously. What do you see in terms of the level at the line this year? Can it be what it was last year?
Oh, we definitely feel that the level of the line can be what it was last year. Guys are going to have to step up into new roles and responsibilities. Now, they're going to have to prove that they can do that. But I have the utmost confidence in our D-line that they'll be able to do that.
Over here to your left.
I want to go back to Bo Davis. I know the relationship was so strong, it seemed, between the entire group and with Bo Davis. Just simply, how tough was that to see him leave?
Oh, man, it was definitely tough. You never want to see, your coach go out like that. But at the end of the day, it's a business. You can't get too attached to one particular coach or player. I mean, even though it's sad to go, he'll still always be a close friend of mine. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but, I mean, it is what it is. You got to move on. We got a job to do,
Jonathan, Stephen Gunner, WSFA Montgomery. On the other side of the ball, to sit and watch and go up against O.J. Howard, how has he developed through the years, and what do you see as a player on the field and the teammate he is off the field?
Oh, man, he's a great teammate off the field. Funny guy, always upbeat, gets everybody ready on our 6:30 runs off the field. On the field, he's definitely become a great blocker. He's always been a great pass runner, but his blocking has increased tremendously since he got here his freshman year. So that's probably one of the biggest improvements I've seen on him.
After the season, there was a lot of speculation as to your future. What ultimately turned back?
There was a lot of things that turned back. Probably the biggest thing was my shoulder and just, the depth of the draft, my shoulder. I mean, there was a bunch of things. I don't think I could point out one specific thing, but just talking to Coach Saban, we just made a decision that was best for me and my family.
Over here to your left.
Hey, Jonathan, Lee Benson from KAGS in College Station, Texas. I know you were part of that Alabama team a few years ago that played Oklahoma in the Sugar Bowl. Now Trevor Knight's at Texas A&M. I'm wondering if you've thought about getting another shot at playing against Trevor Knight this upcoming fall.
I heard he was at Texas A&M, but I'm not circling on our calendar or anything. Like Coach Saban said, it's another game, it's another team. If we focus too much on that team and we lose to another team, our season, it could be over. So we're not focusing on one team more than any other team. We're preparing for each team the same way.
Right here.
Jonathan, you talked about how you think this defensive line this season is going to be solid once again, but what is it that you guys do with the younger players to get them ready for a heavy rotation and be ready for day one?
You just try to adapt them to your culture. I know for me personally, coming from high school to college was a big transition. It's just not the same intensity. So once they get here, you got to tell them the severity of the situation. They got to catch on to the play script. They got to eat right. They got to do everything right to be able to play this year. So I feel like our young guys have done a good job of understanding that, So I feel like they're going to be ready for the season. They just got to understand that it's time to get it,
Back here in the middle.
Clay from WDHN. You guys always praise about staying the course, staying focused, and you've proved that time and time again. Do you ever get tired of staying hungry and trusting the process? And if so, how do you fix that?
Well, my first 2 years here, people got tired of it and didn't want to continue on the process, and we lost. So when you do it right, you get the results you want, and everybody wants to win. So it just depends on what's important to you. If coming here and win is important to you, it's really not hard to stay on the process because that's what you want to do.
When we talk to you guys in Tuscaloosa, sometimes we bring up just the fan interest and the pressure that it takes to play for this team and this program. When you walked into the lobby today, what went through your mind, and was kind of people hanging around just to see you guys for a few minutes at media days the epitome of the attention that you guys have to play under?
I just love our fan base. I mean, they couldn't put more pressure on us than Coach Saban does. So we're not worried about that. Coach Saban puts more pressure on us than anybody could. So we love our fans. I mean, just the support they show us is tremendous. Coming home from the national championship, they were outside of our airport cheering us on. So I feel like we have the best fan base in the nation. So we just love them, and any chance we get to give back, we love to do it. I was surprised. I didn't think there was going to be that many people there, but I mean, I enjoyed it. You know, I always love seeing the fans.
Back here.
Hey, Jonathan, can you go back to the national championship game and just kind of when it sunk in that you guys had won it, what that feeling was like, and how long were you allowed to celebrate winning?
Probably the first thing I thought about after we won that championship, I looked back to our summer and all the runs we did and just thought about how worth it was, you know. It was great. I mean, it's just one of the things you always play for, but you just can't really experience until you do it, you know. For how long we got to celebrate it for a good while, but for the guys who are coming back, it's a new team, so it's time for us to establish our own identity and get on our own path and try to, you know, create new memories for our own.
Back over here too.
Hey, Jonathan, Vince Lennon, a.k.a. Montgomery. Talk a little bit about O.J. Howard and his return for his senior year and how reassuring that is that he's delaying an NFL career potentially to stick around for another year here at Tide.
Oh, man, he's definitely a special player. You know, as a team, we were super happy when he decided to return for us. You know, we felt like he was making a good decision for himself. You know, we're glad he's back. You know, he's such a versatile weapon that he can't do nothing but be happy that he's coming back. You know, he can help us in so many ways.
Eddie Jackson also here today. What have you seen in terms of his development and what level you feel like he can take it to this season?
Oh, definitely. Probably the biggest thing that I've seen improvements on him is his leadership ability. He definitely makes other defensive backs around him better, and that's so huge. That's probably one of the biggest things Coach Saban preaches is affecting other people. You can affect one person every day, and if everybody does that, then we'll have a successful team. And I definitely see that in Eddie. Athletically, he's a freak. I mean, you don't see too many people be able to do the things he's done. So he's definitely a bonus to have on this defense.
Jonathan's the third year in a row that the offense is going through a quarterback battle. As a defensive guy on a really staunch defense, how do you guys, view that quarterback battle? Is there a certain person you guys root for? They always say about winning the team, but when you're on the other side of the field, how do you guys view it?
It really doesn't affect us, to be honest with you. I mean, our goal is to attack the quarterback. So for us, it really doesn't matter who we have on the opposite side. And we say that because if Coach Saban has enough faith to name him the starting quarterback, then we have faith in him. So, I mean, we follow Coach Saban. So if Coach Saban says this is the guy we're going to go with, you're gonna surround him with support. And all the other quarterbacks, I mean, they know. It's a competition. So, like I said, whoever Coach Saban picks, that's the guy we're going to support.
Right back.
Jonathan right here. Noah Mandel, WTVY News 4 Dothan. What are the differences and similarities between Derrick Henry and Bo Scarborough?
I feel like there's definitely a lot more similarities than differences. I feel like Bo Scarborough might be a little more stocky, where Derrick was a little more lengthier and could stride more. But, I mean, both tremendous work ethics, hard, physical, monstrous back. So I'm super excited to see what Bo Scarborough can do for us this season.
In regards to the quarterback battle, this is going to be the third straight year you guys have a new starter. So not a lot of playing experience when they get out there, but defensively, you guys have enough confidence in yourselves. Is the view kind of if they can perform against us in practice, then they can perform against any other defense?
Oh, definitely. It's always a competition. Even when we go out there for 7-on-7s, no matter what we do, it's always a competition. So, you see the quarterbacks, and they're competing like crazy, and that's all you can ask for is a competitor. You know, not everybody's perfect. You're not always going to make the best passes. I'm not always going to make the tackle. So we're not expecting them to be perfect. We just want them to go out there and be fired up and be a competitor. That's all you can ask for.
Any other questions? Well, can we get the mic, please?
Just what Joe said just dawned on me. We always talk about offensive guys, what they look for in a quarterback. What does a defensive guy look for? Because he's on your team, obviously. Well, what are you looking for in a quarterback to lead your team?
I don't feel like there's something specific that we're looking for. But if you like, you just want toughness in your quarterback. You want that presence about him. I can't really explain it, but you know when you see it. I feel like we found it last year, probably a little bit under halfway through the season. You just knew Jay Coker was it. I mean, I can't really explain what it is, but it's just that competitiveness. You always love to be around competitors. So if my quarterback's a competitor, I'll easily go with him.
We have time for one more question. Okay, thank you. We have about a 10-minute break, so we'll be back at 9:55.